Today, I'm starting a new series on the essence of spiritual awakening and what Yahusha HaMashiach came to restore. When I speak about picking back up Torah out of love and covenant, Yahusha said, if you keep my commandments, you love me. Or I think the verse is, if you love me, keep my commandments, right? Keeping and obeying Torah is not about religious performance. In fact, it's about intimacy and a relationship that is being restored. In fact, Yahusha wasn't teaching laws in the way religious people present them. From what I received as a heavenly download, Yahusha was awakening people to a higher consciousness, the original blueprint of divine sonship and unity with the Father. It's shifting from a 3D dimension to a 5D kingdom consciousness when you obey out of love, because the law is written on our hearts, Jeremiah 31. That's the shift from religion to revelation. The Torah instructions reveals the heart of the Father, how he wants his children to live in harmony with creation, one another, and himself. It's what sets his chosen people apart from those who are lawless. So when walking in Torah through Yahusha, you're not following rules. You're aligning with divine order. It's returning to the Garden of Eden. Oh my goodness. When I tell you this revelation hit me so hard, listen. It's walking in the cool of the day with the Father, not hiding in shame or separation. Yahusha came to decode what was hidden. He spoke in parables because he was revealing heavenly mysteries that couldn't be understood through the carnal 3D mind. He was teaching how to renew the mind to free people from the mental, emotional, and spiritual system of control. The matrix, if you want to call it. The matrix is not just technology or government. It is programmed consciousness built on fear, separation, sin, and dependence on eternal authority instead of divine connection. In John 8:32, you will know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The freedom wasn't just a Roman rule. It was freedom from the inner prison of false identity and spiritual blindness. This is why he said, he quoted it himself, the kingdom is within you. That is divine embodiment. What happened in the garden wasn't just about physical nakedness. It was about a fall in consciousness, a shift in awareness from divine unity to separation. Once Eve and Adam ate the fruit that Elohim said, do not eat nor touch it, lest you die, the eyes of both of them were open. They knew they were both naked. But here's this. Elohim said, Adam, where are you? The moment of separation. When Adam hid, it wasn't that Yahuwah didn't know where he was. It was that Adam no longer knew who he was. And they heard the sound of Yahuwah walking about in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah, Elohim, among the trees in the garden. So before the fall, Adam and Eve walked in full awareness of Yahuwah's presence. They were once one in his frequency, clothed in his light, which is divine consciousness. The footsteps is his vibrations, and his living presence moving through creation. When Adam ate the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, he descended into the duality of consciousness, judgment, fear, and separation, right? That's why the very next emotion he experienced was fear. Genesis 3:10. And he said, I heard your voice in the garden and I was afraid. Do you catch this? Because I was naked, so I hid myself. You see, fear was never part of divine design. It was the evidence that his vibration had fallen from the 5D unity we were once in into separation into 3D, the awareness. Adam became aware of his outer self instead of his inner self. His focus shifted from from spirit to flesh, and from the I am, which is Yahuah consciousness. His frequency, the frequency of Yahuah, is compared to the cerebrum, the brain, the highest seat of awareness. No longer seeing things as me, myself, and I. That's why shame and self-consciousness entered. He began to see himself apart from Yahuah instead as the image of Yahuah. The divine consciousness that was lost was the awareness of oneness. He forgot that the kingdom was within, and he began to seek validation, knowledge from outside of the world. Yahusha came to restore this same consciousness. And Yahusha came to reverse the fall, to restore what Adam had lost, which is in Luke 19. He didn't just come to save people, but to restore the state of divine union with humanity lost in the Garden of Eden. Through his spirit, we are clothed again in the light, not fig leaves. The true garment of salvation. This is why he said you must be born again. Not born of the flesh, but of the spirit of truth. To return to the original frequency of oneness with the Father, where we walk with Yahuah again and no longer need to hide. Yahusha's mission was to awaken us again into remembrance to the divine consciousness of sonship. We know him again. This is why he said, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. I hope you catch this. It's also why we come into moments of remembrance. I felt like I knew this person. I feel like I remember doing this, or what some people call deja vu. Well, nothing is coincidence. And you see, this is what many people don't understand. Why he quotes in John 10:30, I and my Father are one. Yahusha modeled what it looked like when the Ruach spirit of Yahuah fully dwells in human vessel. To embody Yahusha means to think with his mind, to see through his eyes compassion, not judgment, and to walk in his authority over fear, sin, and illusion. And it awakens to the reality that we are never separated from the source taught to believe we were. That renewal is called ascension. As your consciousness rises, your energy and thoughts and choices aligns more with the divine blueprint, the mind of the Messiah or the Mashiach. It's not escaping the world, it's transfiguring it through your awakened presence and consciousness. There are 4 levels of consciousness, and on my next video I will share more on how to shift levels of consciousness. Peace and love be with you all. Shalom.